Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. Hope you're doing good and enjoying your day so far. A crazy story emerging last night with ZooMaa and Parasite recently hosting the Subscriber 8 tournaments that they've crowdfunded together. Lots of subscribers in ZooMaa and Parasite stream playing in these to try and win a share of the pretty big prize pool. Turns out one of the players, Retro, that was competing and won very recently indeed, was actually not who he made himself out to be. It was Duante Sib Undercover playing in the Subscriber 8, taking that money potentially away from players that could have won it, although he may have dished that out afterwards. A player that's under big pressure, of course, to prove himself on the New York Subliners roster. Very much interested to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. I mean, yeah, Doug Censor Martin's at it again. He's also apparently halfway through his training. I wasn't really sure what the timeline was on this stuff, but every so often Doug is going to tweet about his, trying to break the Guinness World Record for the most pull-ups in 24 hours. Always been training for this for some time now, and yeah, so he's done 4 months of total training, 4 more months, and he's going to try and attempt it. Man, like, what a challenge this is, and obviously Doug's looking good, as you would be if you hit these kind of metrics as he is on the left-hand side. Now, only a couple of weeks away until Modern Warfare 3 officially launches. The kickoff tourneys will be ready to go, and look, we've seen many tweets with this particular graphic over the last few days. I mean, it's pretty much been uploading everywhere, but yeah, as Brian Sat says down, but they're really 10 events, so 10 plus events. We're talking really advanced warfare season here, right, when they were, what, 14 events in the year, because we said yesterday, we discussed Black Ops 3 and how good of a game it was, and as Octane said, and the glazing as always happens for track games here on this channel, but there really wasn't that many events that year. There was only a few. The year before in Advanced Warfare there was way more, and there were also weekly online tournaments, and this is kind of what this Subscriber 8 stuff and Subscriber tournaments the ZooMaa and Parasite have been putting together makes so much fun, because people just love to watch this online level of competition. And even if it's not a proper LAN event, it's still better than nothing. And some of the most viewed events ever in COD history have been right at the start of games in these like online tournaments, right? I mean, especially Black Ops 4, when the pro downs happened. I remember even it was yesterday's OpTic podcast or whatever it was, they were talking about this and saying that, yeah, Scump got to 100k viewers when he was in the Hex quarters streaming a CMG pro down $10,000 tournament it was, right at the start of Black Ops 4. But the full OpTic Gaming roster were playing, the full other rosters were playing, and it was absolutely mega. It's not something that we really do anymore because the CDL doesn't put these tournaments on, and they're not really allowing other tournament organizers to run events with all the rosters at the start of the season because they want that to be for themselves. The issue is that, we wait longer than we might otherwise. Now, okay, for the pros, the 2Ks, 5Ks were quite a lot of effort, and they weren't necessarily the best format ever, They'd have to go through and play randoms for hours before they actually played good competition. But late night, it was absolutely phenomenal. And it is something that I'm hoping post-CDL, whatever happens next year or the year after, we could maybe get back at some point. There was also a bit of a banter really between Ghosty and Octane. Of course, they had, a fair bit of battles last season, right? I mean, especially Major 4 finals this year when it was Ghosty on the OpTic team and Octane on the Los Angeles Thieves team that ended up winning that event over Ghosty. So Ghosty says, need an AR and sub from challenges and a content creator, an AR also maybe from challenges and a content creator, for a 4v4 S&D tournament after launch with Afro. So of course Ghosty and Afro on the Los Angeles Thieves playing together. There's a few tournaments that they already know are getting formed. I think this one is going to be is it the 18th of November, something like that anyway. So a few days after launch, maybe that's not the one they're mentioning, but I saw some other talk about that as well. And Josh is like, oh yeah, get Octane in. And Ghosty's roasting him by saying 4v4 S&D because we know that Octane isn't known for his search and destroy prowess, shall we say, better in the respawn modes generally, but as Octane says, MVP and slammed in the finals. So yeah, both technically on the Thieves, but yeah, nonetheless, they did have some good rivalries last season. And to be fair, I'm sure that Ghosty learned quite a bit from watching and playing against Octane in the most recent season, just because, Hill Kitten, you guys know how it is. So this has been going on over the last few days, these subscriber tournaments that Parasite and ZooMaa have been running. Like, you basically subscribe to both of them, the Parasite stuff, the ZooMafia stuff, and they're crowdfunding this. It's really well done, honestly. Like, they're getting their money together from the, subscribers and stuff, and then the players come together, they play, and then the winners win. So we saw the other day, there was one of these tournaments that went down, and, so the subscriber challenge tournament that was won by these guys, Snoopy got the dub on that day, and Parasite was like, oh, damn, should I have really let Snoopy compete? Because, but he at least was playing as himself, right? They knew it was Snoopy, and he was in there as kind kind of like a final boss, and it turned out that, yeah, he won with the team that he put together. So, you know, well done to all involved, no issues, and, well, they did it again just a couple of days later. So that was around about $3,100. For this one, very recently, they got back to about $2,800, I think, and it's kind of funny, because around about a similar time to all this going on, you have such tweets here from Sib, just a whole different mindset, right? So, like, this could be about anything. You might be talking about the NBA, probably is, but it is kind of relevant to what we are about to see. So, on ZooMaa's stream here, they're in the call, you know, of course, like, you know, ZooMaa's in here, Parasite's in here, Valta's in here, Snoopy's in here, everything like that, and they are going through the, the recent results. As we can see, Parasite and Snoopy are on this kind of final boss team. So the way they kind of run it, and they get to a point where Parasite and Snoopy are on a team that's going to be difficult to stop. Now, on the other side, you've got this guy, Retro, who, okay, let's be honest, it's Snoopy, Pro League player, like he's, you know, did well at Champs this most recent year. He's going to be in the league going forwards. Parasite's here as well, of course, world champion back in 2013. And this guy, Retro, slams him, right? 39 and 27. Okay, not that much hill time. Wygal, you know, holds his own. Stuff like this. And, you know, and then Parasite was like, oh, we need to do a PC check on this guy. And then it turns out Retro turned the camera on.
Yeah, Retro, could we get a PC check on Retro?
Wait, Retro, hold on.
Did you monitor camera quick?
Turn your cam on one more time.
All right, guys, hold on. Guys.
I gotta inspect your PC.
Yeah, please don't be cheating, bro.
Why don't I just show my face, huh?
2,800, a lot of money, you know.
Yeah, I want to see what you look like. I'm just curious.
No shot.
Move the scoreboard, Tom. Yeah. Move the scoreboard.
Hey!
Yeah, I can't see, Tommy.
No way, bro. No shot, bro. What the fuck?
Listen. Give all my prizes to Nightly. That's my dog right there. You know, I had to him off, but you know, that's my dog right there. Go ahead, get that shit to you. You feel me? You feel me? The boss squad is up.
Way.
You play with you guys. You know what I'm saying?
His voice was changing, bro. I knew his voice was changing, bro.
So I think that this was known by people in the chat that this was probably Sib, and it was like a bit of a kind of like keep this hidden like type thing that this guy's going to play in this tournament, and you know, ended up winning the entire thing, of course. So first of all, it's cool that like ZooMaa and Parasite were able to put something together, like a prize pool crowdfunded so significantly that pros like Sib and, you know, Snoopy and others are keen to play in this stuff, right? Of course, like when there's money available, the pros are always going to be not too far away, but you know, it's cool to see that that's even possible, that the players are taking the time out of their day. In the same way that back in the day, you'd always get these ringer accounts, right? There was all this controversy during, I think it was even Black Ops 3, maybe Infinite Warfare, when someone, I forget which team it was exactly, but they were using ringer accounts, and they would get Simp and like aBeZy and Cellium before they were 18, when they were like 16, 17, to play for them in tournament qualifiers. And they'd be like, damn, this kid's frying us. And it turns out that it's like Cellium, who was known to be incredibly good, but obviously at that point wasn't old enough to actually compete. And of course, Simp and Cellium and those guys got in a bit of trouble for this when it was found out they were doing it. But, you know, probably not as much trouble as the people that were pretending to play for themselves and actually someone else was playing instead. Somewhat similar to what we have in this situation, right? So pretty entertaining, I thought. And I know there was some, I'm not exactly sure on what the resolution to this was, whether Sib decided, right, yeah, like my share of the money will go back to the guy who I kind of replaced. Because I think that they played, like the Wygal guy, they played against Sib in a match earlier on, and I think they might have known it was Sib, or they might not have done it, but they probably did, and then they decided to get him on their team, and therefore, you know, Sib went on to probably put them in the backpack and carry them for the tournament, and eventually they realised exactly what was going on. So, you know, entertaining stuff. Hopefully, you know, I mean, really, Sib, hopefully he was recording it or something, and it could go up on YouTube. That would be good to see it from his point of view. And also from Sib, he is playing in this tournament on the 18th, which is probably the same tournament we saw mentioned by Ghosty a second ago. Need an AR from challengers and a content creator for a tourney on the 18th. I always find these content creator stuff funny, right? Because most of the content creators you want to get are basically former pros, if not former world champions, that are now content creators and therefore can play with Sib and HyDra. So yeah, look, there's going to be some deadly duos next season, especially on that Subliners team in terms of raw ability. But yeah, you got to say that Sib, as we saw the other day, is under some pressure going into the new season. He is replacing Priestahh, who is definitely one of the more underrated players in COD history and continually gets dropped in these type of circumstances. Sometimes maybe it's a good decision, sometimes it's not. Many people are saying going into the new year that getting rid of Priestahh is not going to work out well for the New York Subliners roster, but Sib definitely will need to try and prove his worth on that team. And the pressure is on him to do so, right? It's difficult to say exactly what the expectation for Sib should be, because last year, New York Subliners won 3 of the 6 events, including the World Championship. That really is not achievable again in theory, right? Like, the expectation is that they overachieved last year relative to their level, and this year you'd expect them to achieve less than that. Not like they weren't a great team, because they were, but you know, this year, even if they kept Priestahh, what would the expectation be for New York? To win 3 events including champs? Not really, right? You might expect them to win 1, maybe 2, but you know, you've got OpTic in there, you've got FaZe in there, both teams have upgraded, Ultra have upgraded as well theoretically, so you know, even if Priestahh was to stay, I think if Subliners were to have won another event, that would be a success, because it's usually quite difficult to win champs and then win anything forever again. So I think, to be honest, if Sib just plays well and they win something this year, like, you know, 1 event, maybe 2 events, that would probably be a successful season. It's the risk of them winning nothing that's going to put the pressure on, because, you know, let's be honest, HyDra is playing most recently at some of the best levels of COD we've ever seen in COD history. Absolute prime performance levels, and this is the, you know, the HyDra performances that will and should really be earning multiple championship wins. If that doesn't happen in the start of the season with Sib on the roster, serious questions will be asked. Even if, you know, they could have kept Priestahh and still regressed somewhat, because, you know, regression to the mean, I think they naturally is expected when you go back-to-back winning Major 5 and champs. You're probably not going to do that again the next season, just based on statistical odds, even if you are still a very good team. But in this circumstance, other teams have got better. But yeah, we'll see what happens next year. The pressure's definitely on Sib to deliver, but it seems like he's most definitely enjoying his off-season for the moment. So very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.